Hello, everyone. My name is Marina Manuelejo, and I am the entrepreneur in residence at the New Haven Free Public Library. Today, I have all of my lovely, brilliant, wonderful friends who are also intelligent entrepreneurs in New Haven. We actually all met at Collab's 2019 Spring Accelerator. And so I just wanted today to be a group of friends who are entrepreneurs talking about how the heck are we setting a vision for our businesses in 2021, recognizing that 2020 was crazy. It continues to be wild. It continues to just create a lot of barriers for us, mentally, emotionally, physically. And so how are we thinking about setting ourselves up personally, and setting our businesses up for success in the future? So I want to just do a little round robin so everyone can introduce themselves. And then I have a couple of questions for us to talk about, what does vision setting mean in 2021 for our businesses? So Melissa, Shafal, then Della and T, if you guys want to go in that order and just introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Melissa Stoll. I am the founder of Stoll Enterprises LLC. It is a event management company based in the athletics realm. So I've done many events specifically for track and field, but have done many other events that's organizational, corporate, of the like. So event management is our thing.
Beautiful. Shafal, you want to go?
Hi, I'm Shafal Dabri. I am the founder of Zen Zilla Yoga and Wellness. I am a community educator and I focus on wellness. I am a classroom teacher as well, but my venture has allowed me to really delve into a part of my life that is very personal and special to me and share it with others. And I specialize in offering affinity healing spaces for wellness designed to support Black women and girls. And I teach yoga for everyone, but that is a specialty that I'm very proud to offer.
Yay. Della, you want to go next?
Hi, I'm Della. I'm founder of Nestle Space. We provide health center design, and I started with a really focused product to create lactation rooms anywhere, and launched literally right before COVID. And so that transitioned very quickly into just health centered design. And so now moved on to another product, which I could talk about later, that we've been selling to schools and institutions. And I'm the third product now. So it's been kind of a journey. And yeah, it's always an adventure.
Entrepreneurship is, yes, the world's greatest adventure for sure. T, do you want to go next?
Sure. Hello, everyone. T. Montgomery. What I do is bespoke wearable art, and I design it to inspire and to empower. I got into this a few different ways. One, by looking for a way to channel my creativity, and then also looking for a way to capitalize on my creativity. And I don't know, I just lost my train of thought, but yeah, a few different paths got me here, and I'm just excited about the process and the growth and everything that I've been able to do, and I'm excited for what's coming in the future.
Yeah, thank you everyone for sharing.
Sure.
I want to first start off by saying that because we're all standing here means that we made it, right? Our businesses, our mental health, like we made it through 2020. Maybe we're crawling to the finish line, but we're here. And so the first question that I want to ask is like, what does resilience mean to you? And within 2020 and COVID-19, was there a time when you just wanted to quit, right? And how did you overcome that mental blockage or true sense of fear? So if anyone can take it away, but what does resilience mean to you, and how are you able to express that resilience through overcoming potential self-doubt?
I would say similar to what Della had mentioned about being a journey, right? So what it means to me in just really keeping on, right? Keeping on, getting back up. If you have At least in our particular case, it's a standstill right now because we're limited in facilities because of the COVID rules. You're limited to so many people in a particular space, and most of the spaces that we use are indoor. And at the most right now in the state of Connecticut, you're maxed out at 25 people. And I was like, that's how many people I have in like actually working with me. So I can't really have events beyond that. But so I would say for me, and thanks again, Rena, for bringing us together. And when you had asked the question about, or the different questions of where we're at with our ventures, I thought, shoot, I haven't really done much in 2020. You know, we were off to a good start leading into the beginning of the year with having the most events thus far, and then still, you know, keep it on queue until the state rules. And so at this point right now for us, it's just a waiting game. And so it's really a slow crawl for us right now towards this finish line. But
Melissa, the library feels you.
Yeah.
I just want to say, because we are doing all these programs on Zoom, obviously.
Yeah. And
I wish I could meet you guys in person right now.
Yeah, and I haven't pivoted into that particular realm. Several people have mentioned like, oh, why don't you do like all these things? And I'm someone who tries not to consume a whole lot, and going on social media, quite frankly, really just like puts a whole lot of anxiety on me because I feel like I have to like post something daily. And if I'm on it all the time, like it's good to see like all of my peeps like doing their thing, like Shafau, whenever she has all of her classes going on, I'm like, girls, go to her class, you know, like get on Zoom and do her class, you know what I mean? Or, you know, whatever else, you know, but I think for me, and knowing myself and what I'm best at, I'm very good with face-to-face, very interpersonal. And so although it may be a pause, as they say, there's been a lot of pausing going on. But as I was really encouraged by coming together with the group and connecting with one of our other cohort mates, Anitre, she's been really encouraging and really had gotten like the fire lit up my ass, which is great because sometimes you need that. I'm a coach by day. I coach track and cross country at Southern Connecticut State. So I'm, you know, a motivator and encourager by trade, but I need a coach myself. And this is what the group had really fostered. Like, I didn't think I needed this type of guidance, but I'm so grateful to have that guidance with Margaret, Caroline, and the rest of the group. It's been a great experience.
Can you tell the viewers what Collab is, basically? Because I don't think we really mentioned too much about them.
Yeah, that's good. Let's plug Collab a little bit because they did bring us all together. So Collab is an accelerator for early stage entrepreneurs in New Haven, and they prioritize, you know, women or people of color as they're like creating their selection criteria. So who is underrepresented in the field of entrepreneurship, and they really want to highlight and build up those folks in their power. So they host 8-week, 10-week accelerator program. You meet once a week, build a community, build a family, and they provide you with capital. So $1,000, sometimes maybe it changed. And then just resources, mentorships, connections into the community. So we love Collab, and they've been great to us. So, and thank you, Melissa, for sharing, because it's so real to acknowledge like, hey, it's a slow crawl. We didn't pivot. Social media overwhelms me, but I still run a business, right? Like, you're allowed to have.
I'm still in the state of Connecticut. I haven't shut down.
I'm still alive. Curious, does anyone else have thoughts on like what resilience means to you and how you've acknowledged COVID through your business?
For me, I'm sorry.
You go. I'll go after you.
Yeah, I mean, for me, resilience, because before, like on March 12th, 2020, I was living my dream. I had made my transition from being a career-long educator for 20 years into stepping in full-time to teaching my yoga and meditation programs throughout schools in Hamden and in New Haven. I was working in the community. I was teaching classes 6 days a week and absolutely loving every minute of it. Then March 12th, 2020, I remember like it was yesterday, I was in a school in between classes, and I saw when the principal of the school that I was in got the phone call that he needed to inform his staff that the school was shutting down. I could see his body language changing. And that's when everything got really real. And everything I was doing grinded to an abrupt and screeching halt. And so what resilience meant to me was like a lot of breaking down, a lot of breaking down, because I really do draw energy from interactions with others and from just the dynamic of teaching a yoga and meditation class with music. So it just meant a lot of breaking down and building myself back up. And going back to what we all did that first week that we were together in a collab where we talked about the why. Like, what is it about our venture that brings us here? What is it that's driving us? And, you know, what is it that inspired us to create these unique services and products? And so, you know, I had to really go back to that, because to me, it wasn't about being able to teach here, there, and everywhere. It was really about sharing wellness practices that changed my life with others and with Black people in particular. And so, you know, I was able to reflect with some people that were close to me that I trusted on ways that I could pivot into teaching online. I took a break for about a month and then made the transition to teaching classes exclusively online. I taught since March 12th. There were 2 classes that I taught that were in person. Both classes were outside with about 6 or 7 people. So, you know, very, very different than what I was doing in the past.
Thanks for sharing, Shafal. Della, did you want to add something?
I think for my business, because I hadn't even really, the beginning part of the first year that I was kind of operating was about a design of a particular product that was very much related to in-person work. And so it was a, you know, a lactation station that was going to just transform any space for people who are pumping at work, you know, and, you know, outside of their homes was kind of like the key factor in it. So it was actually pretty pivotal for me because I never really went public or, you know, kind of went into the world with actually what my brand was or what my business was until after COVID. It was more just like leading up to this kind of moment and then having to rethink like what that moment would be. And so in the beginning, I thought about, I just didn't really, I wasn't able to see around the corner and was sort of thinking, okay, like, I don't know what this is going to look like tomorrow or in 6 months or in a year, but everything is completely on hold. And then trying to scrape it together, have actually been able to reformat like my view of my business in a way that's been like positive and like a really amazing transformation, because it was like, okay, let me take these like design principles that I worked on for one kind of function and put it into other functions. And so came up with this way of re-engineering my product and made this portable hand washing stations, and since have sold like over 300 units of them during COVID, which is like pretty amazing. And I've done some big rollouts for public school systems, and just got a commission to do a neonatal care intensive unit rocking chair. So I think for me, it was really big because it was like, I took all these things that I learned from my own design thinking and collabs thinking and collaboration with other individuals, and started to think about how can this be like a broader way of like thinking about design and health versus just like one product. And COVID really forced me to do that. So yeah, I think for me, it was like, yeah, it was real, like, and still every day it's like, okay, well, I don't know what the future of like interacting in a space is going to look like. So this is going to continue to change, and there are going to be all sorts of health considerations that are continue to change, and like, you know, social, emotional health factors that are going to continue to change. So, so yeah.
And Della, you everyone here is resilient. I remember having conversations with you.
Totally. I was going to bring that up where I was like, is this a thing? Like, should I go for this? Like, what should I do with this? I talked to Shafao too. Shafao, you're amazing. I was like, does this work in a classroom? Like, what is it?
Oh my God. Muted. But yeah, Della.
Of course I am. Yeah. I was just saying, this is perfect. Classrooms are gross and we need this. So thanks, Stella.
Yeah.
So happy for you, Della.
So I'd say one of the most important things to remember in this experience is the original reason why we decided to do what we're doing in the first place. That's been one of the things that have kept me going with the overall mission, and also not being married necessarily to my original idea of what I thought I wanted or where I thought it was going, and allowing it to organically grow into something else. For example, in the beginning of this, I lost a lot of design contracts, and it's kind of scary because at the same time, this is my first time getting these big contracts. So I had all this excitement that built up, and then events being canceled, not being able to see people, not being able to fit people, just changed the entire game. And I was forced to think about more of the right now than the future like I was before. So one of the blessings with what I do is I can sort of make anything, and people will always need clothes and people will always need things made. So one of the things that was able to help me pivot was when I started making masks for people. And masks are fairly easy to make, quick turnaround, and people need them right now. So I think I may have made at this point definitely over 400 masks, and I donated like half of them.
Wow.
But yeah, just being able again to remember my original goal, the original mission, being able to stay innovative, being able to think about what people need, what people are doing, even what's trending right now. I wouldn't consider myself a trendy person in any sense, not even when it comes to fashion. But then when it comes to business, following the trends is what keeps the money coming in. So I think us all remembering that, and again, not being married to the original idea, allowing it to grow into something greater and bigger is what's going to help us all in the end.
And I appreciate what you said, T, about following the trends, right? Like we're exhausted because we're trying to keep up just our own health and wellness in COVID. But then what does it mean to follow marketing trends, follow customer behaviors and how those are changing and how we have to adapt our business to people shifting behaviors in this world? And so I'm curious, I'm going to combine a couple of questions, but how have you all been following culture and this new virtual world and trying to be really intentional with your business and follow a huge pivoting point in human society and American culture as it is, right? We operate in Zoom worlds. And so like, what does it mean to like not make eye contact with folks anymore, right? Like we are changing. And so all that to say, how are you all watching culture shift and adapting your business to those shifting behaviors of your customers, behaviors of your audience? And that can mean a lot of things to any of you. So if any of you all want to take that away, and I can specify if that would be better.
Yeah, that's a great question. So go ahead, Della.
Oh, you go ahead.
No, you.
Okay. So it's been like really difficult, I think, in one sense, which is that I think, or at least for me, collab, one of the most amazing things they taught us is to really listen to people and really learn how to listen and really figure out how your business can work based on what people actually really need and what problem you're actually solving. Because of course we all have like our passions and our, strong feelings about what other folks need, but it might not, it doesn't always align. A lot of the times you're in your head. And I think that's a really big challenge when you can't really go out and like be in it, um, talking about those things. So for me, it's been a challenge in my particular, business, because I can't really go on site to see how something is working or not working. I can't really like be physically present to understand like whether or not something is doing like what it's supposed to be doing, or what, for example, with lactation space, like what essential workers or healthcare workers, grocery workers, other workers who are on the floor, what they're really experiencing in terms of their work environment. I can't really like assess any of those things, or the same with our hand washing station. So it's been really, a challenge. Yeah. And I'm also like you, Melissa, I hate I hate social media also. So it's really difficult to like glean from social media what the values are, in these things. So
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Della. I think it is important in understanding the use of social media as a tool. I see a huge benefit to it, and I probably should utilize it more. I think the challenge for me, and not having to physically design something and bringing people together, that's obviously the toughest part. But I think in the way that I've watched other businesses take it to Zoom or take it to whatever technical capabilities that they're able to have. So for example, with this particular conversation, it's on Facebook Live. Yeah, I think there's so much more accessibility, which is great. And so if I am one to, just talk with someone who's like, hey, you know how to do Facebook Live? Let's like help a girl out, So I've known of Zoom prior to the pandemic, and have been on video conferencing with Zoom and with Skype and other means, just with my my day job in recruiting international students. And so I always knew of a need for it, but into this capacity and utilizing the business to carry on. I just haven't utilized it, but I've seen the shift now that there's multiple options, right? You don't necessarily have to have, a particular time and space, although that is the best, even just with our group, and hashing things out on a weekly basis or having weekly meetings, having that humanistic experience is so important in my mind. But I think with having this Zoom climate now, I think it's super beneficial just to reach a broader audience when you might not have done before. So I think it's great to have it, but to have it be like an only means, I don't know if that's the best, but I think everyone still longs for the humanistic experience.
Totally. And I'm really curious too, like T and Shafao, if you can also speak about, in watching human behavior shift, right, in the Zoom culture, how are you thinking strategically about monetizing that, right? And like, I think that's an okay question to ask, because as a business, you have to make money. And so do you have any recommendations for folks and how the strategy that they can be employing or using to watch human behavior change and try and adapt your business to make money and to profit off of that?
I mean, one thing to do is to look at who's already doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the most telling answers right there. There are people who may be more established than we are at this point, or maybe not even more established. Maybe they just have a different connection or a different network where they can present it sooner than we can, or something like that. Like, for example, I've been seeing the rise of digital fashion shows. So I'm actually working on one to do in February. But I had that idea in the past, even before COVID, but now that this is actually happening and then seeing how other people have done it and how really simple it is to do, seeing that things are possible really can make it possible for us all. So just watching other people in the industry, that's another thing that collab really stressed for us is looking at other people who are doing what we're doing. What else? Now, that may be all I have right now on that.
No, I like that. It's kind of like people are getting mad creative, and it's them doing it that allows you to think about, I could do it too, and it's not too crazy of an idea. Let me put my like special flair or spice on it. So that's dope.
And some
and
things,
it also helps to talk about what you're doing too.
Yeah.
Sorry, T.
No, it's all good. Talking about it and taking the initiative to just do it. That's really all it is. Sometimes, especially as entrepreneurs and thinkers and planners, we try to think of all the angles and all the ways we can win and fail before we even get started. But as we all realize, once we actually started the journey, it may not at all have been how we thought it was going to start. And we're not at all where we thought we would be. And it grew in a completely different way. So we have to stop limiting ourselves as people and as entrepreneurs and make the necessary steps to do what we want to do and what we need to do. Just go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And now more than ever, because we really can't afford to hinder ourselves or to slack or to get swept up in how quickly the world is changing. Only way to succeed is to pivot and to move with the world and to expand our ideas and to again do whatever we need to do to at least activate what our vision is.
Yeah. And just like reminding yourself every day that you're allowed to express as much creative freedom as you want, right? Like no one's capping you at that. And I think that's like the beauty of entrepreneurship.
And that it's also okay. Yeah, it's also okay for us to pause sometimes, right? Because, as we look to others who are doing the work that we're already doing, to extend and create a network, as we're doing what we're doing, people are seeing that same thing in us. And, with the work that I was doing, I was convinced, a year ago that, the way for me to impart what I'm doing or deliver my services could not possibly be in the school system. But what ended up happening through this pandemic is, now that all of the schools had to close, they had to reopen with social emotional learning at the forefront of what they're teaching students, which was what I was already doing anyway. So I was just minding my own business, chilling in a panty. And then I was contacted by a school that's right in my neighborhood that I am very fond of, that I actually helped to open when they first started out in New Haven. And I served there as the Dean of Social Emotional Learning and Wellness. This is Elm City Montessori School. And to me, it was important to me to think about the why I'm doing this, break myself down, build myself back up. So I would be okay with going back into the school system. I was just so convinced that what I was doing would not work there. And, time and space certainly creates some distance that's good for coming back together. And so, I'm just very grateful to be in this position where I'm able to support not just children and students and not just the staff through professional development, but I'm also working with families during a time when we're all experiencing an abrupt cultural shift, and by now probably some culture shock. And that's something that I had to tell myself I would be okay with doing. So it's all right to pause in your business. It's okay to take a few steps back and reflect and just really do what feels 100% great to you inside and makes all of your cells jump up and down.
Yeah. And like in terms of reflection, right? How, and this is a question for all of you, how do we hold ourselves accountable for this like vision, right? Vision of our business in 2021. How do we intentionally create the space for ourselves to be express our imagination and keep thinking big, because we all know the chaos of entrepreneurship and how it is so easy every day to just be in the nitty gritties and never really get a chance to play. Like, and I say play in terms of like a mental playground, right? And just go down deep dives and explore that. So I think my last question to all of you, and then if anyone has questions, throw them in the chat. We'll answer them after. We can email you guys after. But my last question to you all is, how do you hold yourselves accountable to keep being that visionary, that entrepreneur, and holding true your North Star and not getting bogged down by all this chaos that's happening? So how to set a vision, how to keep yourself accountable.
So I'll speak for, hello everyone. Just checking in. I'm a little late, but I saw T posted this on social media, so I decided to drop in.
Yes.
See, look at that. Melissa, you better get on there.
Feels good to be around some fellow collab folks.
Hey.
But I'll say what helps my vision with Push to Start is something that I care deeply about. And if there were no money flowing in, I would still kind of be out here doing this work. And that's kind of what was going on the like the first 2 years Push to Start existed. I don't know, and just embrace kind of creativity and creative solutions. Like, don't put any options off the table. Mm-hmm. Just because when the pandemic first started, I'm like, dang, like nobody's gonna bring their kids out. People are scared, but it wound up turning out that like skateboarding, and I was this is me reading like business journals from skateboarding. Skateboarding actually had a boom during a pandemic because it's something you can do in a group setting or solo. So a lot of people who are older, who had given up skateboarding because they had more responsibilities, were able to get back into it. And with the park being built, we still had acceptable sized groups that would come out and skate with us. Luckily, construction was what was deemed like essential, so we were able to kind of get that done. But like just me kind of following general trends in the industry, a lot of it was like self-guided and like basically a lot of self-guided stuff. And one of the coolest thing that I think emerged from this was something called COVID-19, which is basically a filmmaker. He had people film themselves, and he compiled other clips. To I think he got like 5 or 6 videos, but it was cool to see different skill levels, different races, different sexualities, kind of putting the world aside and just focusing on this thing that kind of connects us all. And I don't know, just like you'll be surprised how creative people can get. So I guess the last thing I'll say is like don't think like, what if this doesn't work? Think like, how can we make this work? Like go into it as if it's done already, and like with that confidence, because like act like you're supposed to be here, I guess. Like if you're going into a new scenario and you're like tense, you're likely to second guess yourself or question what you do. But if you go in there like with confidence, like you might not know, but like kind of pretending is half the battle. and like you might actually pretend to convince yourself.
Yeah, that's so real.
Absolutely.
Especially when imposter syndrome is like inevitable in first time early stage entrepreneurs. So thanks, Steve, for
You're welcome.
throwing in your comments. I'm curious because I want to respect everyone's time. I know that this was like a 45-minute session. Did anyone else want to add to the panel? If not, we can open it up to questions from the audience. I know Shafau, did you want to say something? I feel you. I feel your energy.
I think I said it. I'm always thinking something to say. I'll chill.
Okay, cool.
Well, you talked about accountability, Rena, and at least for me, not having held myself accountable these last couple of months, but I do appreciate Shafau saying like it's okay to take a pause and reflect. But as I was saying with this group and even with Anitra, in really being encouraging and sparking ideas. I don't know if we could do this a little bit more often since we last, been around with each other. But I think when I have like a set time, set place, like time to sit down and write in the journal, then that would be something that I would have to schedule out in the day. But I think it's always good when you're with people, like, when you have someone to meet, you're more likely to do it, right?
Yeah.
And so I would say setting like a specific day time. So if it was with us Wednesdays at 6, I'll do Wednesdays at 6, you know what I mean?
Well, we would love to have you guys back on to do this again too.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Della had to go, but she
Bye,
said
Della.
thank you everyone, and she'll send her updates to us later. But
And also, if you're watching the recording, feel free to comment your questions and we can get back to you. You can comment on the Facebook Live right now if you're watching on Facebook Live, comment in the chat. But I think the program is just about over.
Yeah. So thank you everyone. I like love all of my fellow collab graduates. You guys really warm my heart. And in a time where I had myself so much imposter syndrome about like what the heck does it mean to be a tech entrepreneur, a young woman of color entering into entrepreneurship, didn't have any sort of business background. You all were like the first to really be my catapult, my trampoline into success. So I have a lot of genuine love for all of you. So thank you for joining today. Thanks everyone from on Facebook Live and here in the Zoom. We appreciate you. Moral of the story, entrepreneurship is incredibly difficult, yet incredibly rewarding. So just keep on keeping on. 2021 is about to be a beast, and if you're in entrepreneurship, you have the tools and the mindset and the mental strength to tackle it. So
what about your office hours?
Okay. Yep, because for my office hours, they're Tuesdays 4 to 6 p.m. and Thursdays 9 to 11. I'm down to just be your cheerleader, your support system. I can funnel in library resources, basically talk about anything under the moon. So with that, everyone have a beautiful Friday. Stay safe. COVID's wild. And we'll see you all next time.
Thanks, Rena. Good to see you guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.